Good morning, children. Student, I hope so you all are safe at home, but missing your school, right? But don't worry. From here also we are going. Our connection with you will be remain the same. Children, now we are going to start with the chapter refraction of light. In this chapter, refraction of light, we are going with the what do you mean by refraction? What is the laws of refraction? And what is the refraction through a prism? So in this all this topic we are going to clear in this. So children, first of all I want to tell you what do you mean by light, right? Light is a form of energy that gives sensation to our vision. And as we know, light is having the highest speed which is equal to 3 into 10 raised to power 8 in a vacuum. Light is having the highest speed which is equal to 3 into 10 raised to power 8 meter per second. As compared to any other medium, in a vacuum the speed of the light is highest. We can find it out in a glass or a water. The speed of the light decreases. More the denser medium, more the denser the medium, less is the speed of the light. It varies. Speed of the light varies with its medium. You can find it out. If the medium is denser, its speed slows down. If the medium is rarer, its speed increases up. So in this, if you are comparing with the speed of the light of a water, you'll find the speed of the light in water is 2.25 into 10 raised to power 8 meter per second. Whereas the speed of the light in a glass, it is 2 into 10 raised to power 8 meter per second. From this, we can conclude that water, from water and a glass, what we can say find it glass is more optically denser because speed of the light in a glass it slows down. Speed of the light in a glass it slow down, whereas the speed of the light in a water is more, right? So this is, we can say, water, if you compare between a water and a glass, so water is a rarer, for this water will be the rarer medium and the glass will be the denser medium because the optical density of a glass is more, right? So I hope so in this rarer and denser you can come to know. In a rarer medium, the speed of the light increases up, and in a denser medium, the speed of the light slows down. Okay, next we are going to study about the refraction of light. What do you mean by refraction of light? Refraction of light. Okay children, refraction. If a medium is a transparent, when a light passes from a transparent medium, when a light passes from any of the transparent medium, so instead of going in a straight path, there will be a bending of the light. There you will find there is a bending of a light, slightly bending of a light. It happens because there is a two medium. There is a two different medium. This is called as a refraction of light. Okay, let's take an example. Let me take this as surface. This is a medium of separation S dash. This is a medium of separation S dash. Let's draw normal. Normal means a perpendicular line. Normal means a perpendicular line drawn to the surface of separation N, O, N dash. This is a normal drawn to the surface of separation. This is an incident ray. I will take it as a AO. Is an incident ray. AO is an incident ray falling on the refracting surface, falling on a refracting surface. So what do you find? When this light passes or fall on a refracting surface, any of the surface, you will find that its path, there will be change in its path. Instead of going straight, it will change. It will just change its path. This changing of path of light when passes from one transparent medium to another transparent medium is known as refraction of light. So rather we can say the bending of light when it passes from one transparent medium to another transparent medium is known as refraction of light. I hope so it is being clear. The bending of light when it passes from one transparent medium to another transparent medium. there is a change in its path of light. That is called as a refraction of light. Okay, next we'll just prove the experimental verification of by the all the three cases. Okay, so we are going to study the experimental verification or observation. That is first one, when the light passes from, when a ray of light passes from rarer medium to a denser medium. Denser medium. Then the ray of light will bend towards the normal. So let's draw this figure. This is called as the medium of separation, S dash. This is a medium of separation, S dash. When a normal is drawn to this figure, let me name it as N, O, N dash. Okay. Then when you draw when you draw an incident ray drawn through the surface of separation, that is AO. This is an incident ray drawn through the surface of separation, right? This is an AO is an incident ray. The angle formed between it is called as an angle of incident. When this ray of light passes from one transparent medium, it will bend. When the ray of light, this is a rarer medium and this is a denser medium. When the ray of light passes from rarer medium to a denser medium, this ray of light will bend towards the normal. It will bend towards the normal. That means this is a refracted ray. OB is a refracted ray. OB is a refracted ray. From this, that means angle of incident is greater than angle of refraction. Angle of incident is greater than angle of refraction when the ray of light passes from denser medium to a rarer medium. So, ray of light passes from rarer medium to a denser medium. Rarer medium, we can take it anything. That is a air we can take, and here we can take as a water. So, when the ray of light passes from rarer medium to a denser medium, you will find this ray of light will bend towards the normal. That means angle of incident will be greater than angle of refraction. Okay. Second case we are going to study, that is when the ray of light passes from, when the ray of light passes from denser medium to rarer medium. Then it will bend away from the normal. Okay, once again we'll draw the same figure. This is called as the medium of separation. This is the normal. S dash is the medium of separation, normal. N, O, N dash. Okay, incident ray falling on the medium of separation, angle I. Okay, now this is a denser medium and this is a rarer medium. I can take this as a water, this as a air. When this ray of light falls on this that is, it passes from denser medium to rarer medium, the ray of light will move away from the normal. That is we can find it out A, B. That is, we can find that angle of incident will be less than the angle of refraction. You will find here that the angle of refraction will be greater as compared to the angle of incident. I hope so it will be clear to you. Next, third case. In the third case, I'll just draw over here. Third case. That is, when the ray of light passes through normal, through normal, then there will be no deviation. Deviation, or we can say no change in its path. There will be no change in its path. Once again I am drawing the same figure. That is S dash is the medium of separation. Normal drawn to this figure. And O and dash. So when this ray of light passes through, that is the incident ray, when it passes through the normal. Incident ray passes through the normal. Incident ray is AO. Okay, when it passes through the normal, then we'll find there is no change in its path. There will be no change in its path. That is, angle of incident and angle of refraction both will equal to 0. Angle of incident and angle of refraction both will be equal to 0. When the light passes from one transparent medium to another, there is a bending of light takes place in any of the medium. When the light passes through any of the medium, any of transparent medium, there is a bending of light taking place. Only in the case when when the light passes through the normal, there is no change in its path of light. Now, we are going to speak about the laws of refraction. There are the two laws of refraction. First of all, let me draw the figure. This is called as medium of separation, S dash. This is the medium of separation. A normal drawn through the medium of separation, N, O, N dash. An incident ray drawn to the surface of separation, A, O. This is an incident ray, and when the ray of light passes from one transparent medium to another transparent medium, you will notice that there is a bending of light. If it is a rarer medium and if it is a denser medium, then you will find there is a change in the light, path of light. Okay, so this is the angle of, this is the ray of this is a refracting ray, let OB. Okay, this is the angle of incident and this is the angle of refraction. Okay, we are going to speak about the laws of refraction. Laws of refraction. Okay, first law. According to the laws of refraction, the first law states that the incident ray, the normal ray and the refracted ray, all the three rays lies in a same plane at the point of incident. So, the incident ray, the refracted ray, the normal lies in the same plane at the point of incident. That means all the three rays lies in the same plane at the point of incident, at this O. Okay. Second is, that is the ratio of sine of angle of incident, sine of angle of incidence to the sine of angle of refraction, is constant. That is, the ratio of sine of angle of incident to sine of angle of refraction is constant, and this constant is called, it is known as a refractive index. This constant is known as the refractive index. The constant is known as the refractive index. So we can write refractive index is equal to sin I upon sin R, which is also been denoted in a Greek word called as a mu. It is been denoted by a Greek word called as a mu. So the refractive index is that we can ratio of sine of angle of incident to the sine of angle of refraction is constant. That constant is being denoted by a Greek alphabet called as a mu, or even in an English alphabet it is being denoted in this way. So when you are speaking it, that refractive index of second medium with respect to first, it can be written as sine of angle of incident upon sine of angle of refraction. Okay, and these both laws are known as a Snell's law. These both laws are known as Snell's law. Okay, I hope so it is being clear to you. These both the laws are known as a Snell's law. First law, according to the laws of refraction, the first law says that the incident ray, the refracted ray and the normal lies at the same point of incident. They lies in the same plane at the point of incidence. Second one, the ratio of sine of angle of incident to the ratio of the sine of angle of refraction is always constant. It means if you are increasing the sine, if you are increasing the angle of incident, at the same moment there you will be finding that it will be the increase in the angle of refraction. For a medium, this value will be constant. For a medium, this value will be constant. And both the laws are known as a Snell's law. The above both the laws are known as a Snell's law. I hope so it is being clear to you. After the laws of reflection, we are going to study about the refractive index. That is refractive index of second medium with respect to first medium. When you are speaking about the refractive index of second medium with respect to first medium, it means that it is the ratio of sine of angle of incident of first medium to the sine of angle of refraction to the second medium. So if you are speaking about the refractive index of second medium with respect to first, it means that sine of angle of first medium with respect to the sine of angle of refraction of the second medium. And when you are speaking, and one more thing, it doesn't have any unit because both the quantity are same. It doesn't have any unit. It don't have any unit. Keep this thing in your mind because both are the same quantity, so it doesn't have any unit. So next we'll speak about the absolute refractive index. Next we are going to speak about the absolute refractive index. In the absolute refractive index, we have first of all said in the previously I said the speed of the light is highest rather from any other medium, which is equal to 3 into 10 raised to power 8, which is equal to 3 into 10 raised to power 8 speed of the light in air or in vacuum. Speed of the light in air or a vacuum is the highest speed, which is equal to 3 into 10 raised to power 8. When we are comparing the speed of the light with any other medium, that is we are comparing, there is a speed of the light with any other medium, then that is known as an absolute refractive index. So absolute refractive index we can define in the way that is it is the ratio of the speed of the light in a vacuum to any other medium. The ratio of speed of the light in a air or a vacuum to any other medium is known as an absolute refractive index. So I can even write that is a refractive index of any other medium with respect to air. When you comparing the speed of the light, or when you are finding the ratio of the speed of the light with any other medium to the air, that is absolute refractive index of a medium with respect, we can say any other medium with respect to air, that is called as an absolute refractive index. So refractive index of medium with respect to air is what you will get. You will get the speed of the light in air, speed of light in air upon of light in any of the medium. That is speed of light in any other medium, in a medium. So while writing the speed of the light, you have to write by a symbol C. When you are comparing, that is while writing the speed of the light in an air or a vacuum. So write in as a, then speed of the light in a medium, we'll write it as a medium, that is denoted by a V, and refractive index of medium with respect to air or a vacuum. Okay, so it will be denoted by this one, right? I'm comparing now, that is I'll take this medium, let the medium be, let the medium be air, glass. If I'm taking the medium as a glass, when I'm finding the refractive index, of glass with respect to air, so I'll get speed of the light in air, it is 3 into 10 raised to power 8 meter per second. Okay, now I will be doing over here. It will be easy to see. Speed of the light in glass with respect to air, that is speed of the light in air. Light in air upon speed of the light in medium of light in glass, that is the medium is glass. I'll get speed of the light, it is 3 into 10 raised to power 8 meter per second. Speed of the light in glass. Speed of the light in glass, I have said you previously, it is 2 into 10 raised to power 8 meter per second. So just cancel this. 10 raised to power 8, 10 raised to power 8 cancel. What do you get? 3 upon 2, which is equivalent to 1.5. Means refractive index of glass with respect to air is 1.5. It is 1.5. Hope so it is being clear. So speed of the light, refractive index, we can say refractive index is the speed of the light in a air, speed of the light in a air or a vacuum, or it is the ratio of the speed of the light in a vacuum to any other medium. It is the ratio of the speed of the light in a vacuum to any other medium is known as an absolute refractive index. Now in this way I take it for the glass. You can even find it for the water. Similarly, we can find it for the water. That is, what we will get for the water, if the medium we are taking medium as a water. The medium we are taking it as a water. Let the medium be water. Be water. So what is absolute refractive? That is a water with respect to air. What you will get? Once again the same formula. The speed of the light in air, or a vacuum, in air upon speed of light in water. So it is 3 into 10 raised to power 8, 3 into 10 raised to power 8 meter per second. So I get here, what is speed of the light in water? It is 2.25. 5 into 10 raised to power 8 meter per second. Cancelled. This also get cancelled. You will get 300 upon 225, which is equal to 1.33. So refractive index of water with respect to air is 1.33. It is 1.33. I hope so it is all being clear. In this way you can find any other medium, that is any other medium with respect to air, that is known as an absolute refractive index. The ratio of speed of the light of speed of the light in air with respect to any other medium. Children, now we'll take some other example of refractive index of two transparent medium. Let's take a refractive index of glass with respect to water. Refractive index of glass with respect to water is speed of the light in water. That means refractive index of glass with respect to water. That is refractive index of second medium with respect to first. So it means speed of the light in first medium. So speed of the light in first medium is water. Speed of the light in water upon speed of the light in glass. Light in glass. So you'll get, what is the speed of the light in water? It is 2.25 into 10 raised to power 8 meter per second. So speed of the light in glass is 2 into 10 raised to power 8 meter per second. Cancel this. We will get 2.25 upon 2, which is equivalent to 1.125. So refractive index of glass with respect to water is 1.125. It is 1.125. Similarly, we can find that is refractive index of water with respect to glass. In water with respect to glass. In this way, we can find any of the medium. It's not this one. We can find any of the transparent medium. The medium should be transparent. So, what is it? Refractive index of second medium with respect to first. So, what is the second medium? Second medium is water. That means speed of the light in first medium. Speed of the light in first medium is what? Speed of light in first medium. First medium is, it is your glass. Light in glass upon speed of light in water. In water, you'll get, it is equivalent to, that is 2, speed of the light in glass, it is 2 into 10 raised to power 8 upon 2.25 into 10 raised to power 8 meter per second. I just cancel this meter per second at the street. So you'll get, it will be 200 upon 225. So you'll get, it is 8 by 9 which is 8 by 9 which is equivalent to 0.89. It is equal to 0.89. I hope so it is being clear to you. Student, now we'll be studying about the factors affecting the refractive index. What are the factors affecting the refractive index? We are going to study about from this. First one, it depends upon factors affecting the refractive index. Affecting refractive index. First, it depends upon the nature of the medium. It depends upon nature of medium. That is, nature of the medium means how it is. If a medium having that is optically more denser, if the medium is optically more denser, means the speed of the light of that medium will be less. If it is optically denser, means the speed of the light will be less. So the refractive index of that medium will be greater. For example, if I am comparing the speed of the light in a glass and the speed of the light in a water. So we notice that speed of the light in a glass is 2 into 10 raised to power 8 meter per second. Whereas the speed of the light in a water is 2.25 into 10 raised to power 8 meter per second. From this we can say that speed of the light in a glass is less. That is, it is optically denser. This is more optically denser. This is optically denser. Okay. So the refractive index of glass, we have find it out. Refractive index of glass with respect to air, we got it as a 1.5. In the previous one we have just find it out. It is 1.5. Whereas the refractive index of water with respect to air, it is 1.3. So it is more the speed, less will be the refractive index. Less the speed, more will the refractive. It means refractive index is inversely proportional to the speed. Refractive index is inversely proportional to the speed of a light in that medium, or we can say speed of light in that medium. It is inversely proportional to the speed of the light of a medium, speed of light of that medium. Okay, this will be more clear to you. So speed of the light, that is the refractive index, will be more where the speed of the light is less. It is inversely proportional. Second, it depends upon the temperature. How it depends upon the temperature? Let's come to know. If we increase the speed or if we increase the temperature of any of the medium, we notice that the speed of the light also increases. Speed of the light increases. If there is an increase in the temperature, the speed of that medium, speed of the light of that medium increases. So, and once again here said the speed and the refractive index are inversely proportional, means therefore with respect to temperature, that is the refractive index is inversely proportional to temperature. If there is an increase in the temperature, there will be the decrease in the refractive index. There will be decrease in the refractive index. More the temperature, less will be the refractive index of that medium. Okay, third factor, that is about the color of wavelength. Third factor is color of wavelength. We have studied there are the 7 color of wave in a visible light. In a visible light, we are having a 7 color, which is known as a Vibgyor. 7 color, right? So red color is having the highest wavelength, whereas the violet color is having the least wavelength. So here red color is having the highest wavelength, whereas violet color is having the least wavelength. Violet color is having the least wavelength. So we notice this, that refractive index is inversely proportional to wavelength. Refractive index is once again inversely proportional to wavelength. Means red color refractive index of red color will be less as compared to refractive index of violet color. From this we will come to know the refractive index of red color will be less as compared to the refractive index of, because it is inversely proportional. Refractive index and wavelength are inversely proportional to each other. For that purpose, we will take a glass block and just find it out. Take a glass block PQRS. This is a glass block, rectangular glass block PQRS. In this, it is a glass block, so it is a transparent medium. Let's draw a normal to this surface N, O, N dash. Take an incident ray. When the incident ray fall on this reflecting surface, O is an incident ray falling on the reflecting surface, as this is the air, which is a rarer medium. The light is passing from rarer medium. So what happens when the light passes from rarer medium? When the light passes from rarer medium to a denser medium, it will move towards the normal. You will find instead of going in a straight path, it will move towards the normal. And it will pass on the second refracting surface. Let me take OB is a refracted ray. OB is a refracting ray. We'll draw a normal to this same, that is a RS refracting surface. We'll draw a normal to this RS refracting surface. Now this is a denser medium. When the light passes from denser medium to a rarer medium, it will move away from the normal. You'll find the ray of light BC will be moving away from the normal. So the light AO is an light ray, that is AO is an incident ray. Ray OB is an refracted ray, and the ray BC is an emergent ray. It is an emergent ray. And the angle formed over, it is an angle of incident, it is an angle of refraction, and the angle formed between the normal and the emergent ray is called as an angle of emergent. It is known as an angle of emergent. One more thing, these two angles will be equal. That is the angle of refraction and this one. And the angle between NOB will be equal to angle N dash OB will be equal to angle M. Sorry, I forgot to M dash M. That will be the angle, that is MBO. Angle MBO. Okay. So this both angle will be equal because they are alternate angle. This both angle are alternate angle, therefore they are equal. From this, therefore, then angle I will be equal to angle E. Angle I will be equal to E. From this, so angle of equal to angle of emergence. As this both are the reflecting surface, when the light passes from denser medium to rarer medium, we will find the ray of light will move towards the normal. Then when the light passes from denser medium to rarer medium, it will move away from the normal. Incident. So the angle formed between this, it is called as an angle of incident. The angle between the emergent ray and the normal is called as an angle of emergent. We will find this both angle will be equal, right? Second condition, that is second thing, we will find if we extend this incident ray, if we extend this incident ray, you will find it out, this both incident ray and the emergent ray, they are both parallel. Incident ray and the emergent ray both are parallel, they are both parallel. And the distance between, the perpendicular distance between the emergent ray and the direction of an incident ray, the perpendicular distance between the emergent ray and the direction of an incident ray is called as a lateral displacement. It is known as the lateral displacement. This is known as lateral displacement. Children, once again I am going to repeat this one. What do you mean by lateral displacement? The perpendicular distance between the emergent ray and the direction of an incident ray is called as an lateral displacement. If you are extending an incident, you will find if a ray of light, if there would have no be any refraction, you will find this incident ray will be passing straightly. It will be passing straight. So that is the same thing. When I extend this incident ray by a dotted line, you will find it out this emergent ray and incident ray, they both are parallel to each other. So the distance between the emergent ray and the direction of an incident ray it is known as a lateral displacement. Now we'll speak about the lateral displacement. Lateral displacement depend upon the three factors. First, lateral displacement depend upon angle of incident. It depend upon angle of incidence. How it depend upon the angle of incident? More the angle of incident, more will be the lateral displacement. If there is an increase in the angle of incident, you will find there will be increase in the lateral displacement. Lateral displacement also increases with the increase in the angle of incident. Second factor, it depends upon the thickness of the glass slab. Thickness of glass block. It depends upon the thickness of glass block. If the thickness of a glass block is less, the lateral displacement will be less. If its thickness is greater, if it is with a greater thickness, the lateral displacement also increases. So second factor depend upon the thickness of the glass block. Third factor is it depend upon the refractive index. More the refractive index, more is the lateral displacement. You will find that is the lateral displacement. Refractive index of water is more. So lateral displacement in water will be more as compared to glass. This we are done in an experiment that we are taking a glass bottle here, just putting a pencil over here. You will find the displacement of a pencil will be less if it is only in a glass. But if you insert a water in it, what you will find, the pencil will be seen to you little bit at a higher, it will be raised at a higher height. So that is the refractive index of water is more. Therefore, lateral displacement in water will be more. I hope so this all point is being clear to you. Lateral displacement, what do you mean by lateral displacement? Lateral displacement is what? The perpendicular distance between the direction of an incident ray and an emergent ray is known as a lateral displacement. The perpendicular distance, this is the perpendicular distance between the two parallel ray, emergent ray and an incident ray. So it depends upon the three factors, depend upon the angle of incident, it depends upon the thickness of the glass block or thickness, and then third it depends upon the refractive index. Student, now we are going to start with the refraction of light through prism or a bending of light through prism. In this, we are going to take a monochromatic light. A monochromatic light is passed on a refracting surface of the prism. when it falls on a refracting surface of the prism, you'll find an angle of deviation is being formed between the incident ray and the emergent ray. When an incident ray is being extended in a forward direction and emergent ray is being extended in a backward direction. An angle formed between these two rays, this we are going to study now with its derivation. This is a prism. Prism A, B, C, A, B, C, and monochromatic light, incident light fall on this reflecting surface. Let us draw a normal to this figure. N dash, and this is OP is an incident ray. OP is an incident ray falling on a refracting surface. This is a air medium, means it is a rarer medium, and this is a glass, therefore it is a denser medium. When light passes from rarer to a denser, it moves towards the normal. You find there will be a bending of light. There will be a bending of light when it passes from a reflecting surface AB. PQ is a refracted ray. Now when PQ ray falls on the other refracting surface, let me draw first a normal to this figure, to this refracting surface AC and double dash. So PQ is an refracted ray. When this PQ ray fall on the surface AC, you'll find this ray of light, as it is passing from denser to a rarer medium, you'll find this ray of light once again get refracted away from the normal. It will get instead of passing out straightly, it will pass out away from the normal, and it will bend towards the base. Okay, so let me name it as a rarer medium. Let me write it as a QR is an emergent ray. QR be an emergent ray. Okay, so this emergent ray, when it is being extended in a backward direction and incident ray when it is extended in a forward direction, you will find an angle formed between these two rays. You will find an angle formed between these two rays is known as an angle of deviation. This is known as an angle of deviation. It is formed when an incident ray is being extended in a forward direction and emergent ray is being extended in a backward direction. The angle formed between these two rays is called as an angle of emergent. Okay, the angle between them, now angle formed between them, refracted ray and a normal is called an angle of refraction. There is a two angle of refraction, R1 and R2, and this is del 1 and del 2. That is the angle of deviation del 1 and del 2. And according to the theorem, that is the external angle is equal to sum of two interior angle. Therefore, del is equal to del 1 plus del 2. Okay, let us name it as an equation 1. We'll just name it as an equation 1. Now, this is an angle of incident. The angle formed between the incident ray and a normal is called as an angle of incident. Let us name it as a I1. Angle formed between an emergent ray. QR is an emergent ray. So angle formed between an emergent ray and a normal is called as an angle of emergent. Let me name it as an I2. So according to this, so what is that is I1 is equal to del 1 plus R1. So in this way, I1 is equal to del 1 plus R1. That means del 1 is equal to I1 minus R1. Let it write it as a small I. Okay. Next, second equation you will get, that is in this on the same side of a AC. What you will get? Del 2 is equal to I2 minus R2. You will get del 2 is equal to I2 minus R2. We will put it as an equation 2. Now put this value, both del 1 and del 2 value in an equation 1. You will get it. Del is equal to equation 1 implies del is equal to I1 plus I2 minus R1 plus R2. Okay, let us write this equation as a 2. I1 plus I2 is minus R1 plus R2. Let it write as an equation 2. Okay, now children, Now we'll see this figure A, P and Q. It is forming an quadrilateral. A, P, Q, A, P and Q. This is forming an quadrilateral. In this angle APN 90 degree, AQN 90 degree. That means these two angle, remaining two angle form a 180 degree. Okay. In quadrilateral A, P and Q, angle APN equal to angle AQN, that is equal to 90 degree. Therefore, angle remaining two side will be 180 degree then. Therefore, angle PAN plus angle PNQ is equal to 180 degree. Okay. So, that means if I am placing this angle PNQ is equal to 180 minus angle PAN. Okay. So, let us name it this equation as a 3. Let's name this equation as a 3. Now in triangle PQN, in triangle PQN, it is sum of two interior R1 plus R2 plus angle PNQ is equal to 180 degree. That means I can write angle PNQ is equal to 180 minus R1 plus R2. That is, these two are sum of interior angle of a triangle. That is R1 plus R2 plus P and Q is equal to 180 degree. Okay. So in place of that I am writing P and Q. Now you can find this both equation are equal. Angle 3 and angle 4 are equal. So equating equation 3 and 4, I get equating equation 3 and 4, I get that is 180 minus PAN equal to 180 minus R1 plus R2. Okay. So 180 get cancelled, minus sign get cancelled. Therefore I get it. I am writing over here. Therefore I get angle PAN is equal to R1 plus R2. Okay. In place of PAN, we can write as in PAN is nothing but an angle A. Therefore angle A is equal to R1 plus R2. Now we can shift this value in this equation 2. Therefore this equation, let me name it as a 5. Therefore substitute the value of A in equation 2 in 2. So what I get? Therefore equation 2 implies, what I get the equation 2? That is del is equal to I1 plus I2 minus, so what I got in place of R1 plus R2, I can write it as an angle A. I can write it as an angle A, or rather I can write in this way, del plus A is equal to I1 plus I2. Okay children, I hope so it is being clear to you. And in the condition when PQ is parallel to base BC, when a PQ, that is a refracting ray, is parallel, PQ is parallel to base BC, at that moment, that means angle of incident and angle of emergent both are equal. At that moment, angle of incident and angle of emergent are equal. Therefore, at that moment, what do you get an equation, that is del plus A is equal to 2I. When it is, that is a PQ is parallel to BC, at that moment what do we get? I1 equal to I2. Therefore I will get 2I. So I can write del equal to 2I minus A. These are the certain equation based on which we are going to solve the numerical. I hope so it is being clear. This derivation is being clear to you. Okay children, I hope so it is being clear to you. Now student, we will study about the four factors which are affecting the angle of deviation. First, that is, it depends upon the angle of incident. Second, it depends upon the angle of prism. Third, it depends upon the angle, or that is the wavelength of light, that is the color of light. And the fourth one, it depends upon the refractive index. So we are going to speak about it in a first, one by one. Okay. So first factor, that is, it depends. So first factor on which it is depend, it is the first one, that is angle of incidence. Angle of incident. So if there is an increase in the angle of incident, at the initial state, angle of deviation decreases. If there is an increase in the angle of incident at the initial state, the angle of deviation decreases, but after some time you will find there is an increase in the angle of deviation with an increase in the angle of incident. So that state from which the angle of deviation increases, that is called as a del minimum. So when you plot a graph between angle of incident and the angle of deviation, we can find it out. When you plot a graph between an angle of incident and angle of deviation, we'll find it out that at the initial state, angle of deviation decreases, but after a certain state, we'll find there is increase in the angle of deviation with the increase in the angle of incident. So this stage at which the angle of deviation started increasing, it is known as a del minimum. Del minimum, that's it, I said you, that is when angle of incident and angle of emergent are equal, we'll find this del minimum. At that stage, you'll get, that is angle of incident is equal to angle of emergent, that is del minimum, you'll get, that is 2i minus a. You'll get the value 2i minus a. So at this equation, you can say that the angle of deviation increases with the angle of incident. Second factor on which it depends, that is, it depends upon the refractive index. It depends upon the refractive index. I can write it in the RA. That is refractive index. It depends upon the refractive index. Means, if I speak about the refractive index, it has been find it out that if there is an increase in the angle of deviation, if there is an increase, if you are saying there is an increase in the angle of deviation with the increase in the refractive index, if the refractive index of any of the material is more, angle of deviation also increases. So angle of deviation or angle of deviation is directly proportional to the refractive index. Means I can say, if there is a more the refractive index, more is the angle of deviation. More the refractive index, more is the angle of deviation. More the angle of deviation. Okay. Then the third factors on which it depends, it is, that is the third factor, it depends upon the angle of prism. It depends upon angle of prism. It depends upon the angle of prism. Means it is found it out that if there is an increase in the angle of prism, if there is an increase in the angle of prism, if it is a 60 degree, the angle of deviation will be certain. If there is an increase in the angle of prism, if there is a more the angle of prism, more will be the angle of deviation. Means it depends upon the angle of prism. More the angle of prism, more the angle of prism, more the angle of deviation. More the angle of prism, more is the angle of deviation. Okay. And the fourth factor on which it depends, that fourth factor is color of wavelength. Color of wavelength. You know, in a visible light, we are having the 7 color. we know in a visible light we are having a 7 color which we call is as a Vibgyor. So in this we know red color is having a highest wavelength. It is having a highest wavelength, whereas violet color is having a least wavelength. Least wavelength. So when the red color passes through this prism, it will deviate less. It will deviate less because it is having a highest wavelength. It will deviate less. But whereas violet color having the least wavelength will deviate more. It will be moving more towards the base as compared to the red color. So it is being found that is the regarding the wavelength of light. If we speak it, that is fourth factor, that is regarding to the wavelength of light. Wavelength of light. So the color with the highest wavelength will deviate less. Less. So it means that is we can say in the other word ki if the more wavelength, less deviation, less wavelength, more deviation. If you are comparing with the between a blue and a yellow color, if you are comparing with the blue and yellow color, blue color is having a lesser wavelength. It is a less wavelength as compared to the green color. So that means green color will deviate less as compared to the blue color. Basically, certain questions have been asked in a board exam. In blue and a green, which color will deviate more? Blue and a green, which color will deviate more? So blue color will deviate more as compared to the green color. I hope so all the factors are being clear to you. So angle of deviation depend upon the four factor. First, angle of prism. Second, it depend upon the refractive index. Third, it depend upon the angle of prism. Fourth, it depend upon the wavelength of light. It is all. I hope so it is being totally clear to you.